The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy. Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy.
It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome into another edition of The Wild Side with Eric Clark. I'm your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give my video a watch and a listen. If you like it, like it. If you think other people are going to dig it, give it a share. That way the channel grows. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and you are following me on all the social media platforms. They're linked below. That way, if there's a band, a song, a video, something you want me to check out, you can hit me up with a DM or leave it in the comments below. If you're going to hit me with a DM, please, no spamming. If you are going to leave it in the comments below, join the I Concur Army, because only you can concur with a suggestion. All you have to do is give the comment section a cursory read through. Just read down through the middle of the page. If you see that your suggestion has already been made, all you have to do is leave a like on that suggestion, and below it, reply with I concur. C-O-N-C-U-R. I concur. It means I agree. And that'll help my old burnout resin-coated DJ brain get everything into a nice little organized list, and I can get it into the handy dandy notebook. I can look through and say, this has this many replies. They all say I concur. There's the leader in the clubhouse, as we say. And don't forget, every Saturday, another opportunity for you to get your suggestions to me. Every Saturday is the Wild Side Live, starting at 2 p.m. Central Time. We go live from East Nashville and sit and chat about all things rock and roll and pop culture. The rules are very simple. No politics, religion, or social media. Just, everybody hang out, have fun, and chill. It's a really super cool environment, but you have to be a subscriber to jump in on the chat. And today's videos, you're going to see this shirt a lot. I've got the World Cup on in the background, and I've purposely moved my monitor over so I'm not constantly going like this as Belgium's getting ready to score, and Canada just lost an opportunity as well. So I've got my monitor moved over so I can focus on what is going on, but a lot is happening. Again, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to watch the video. Before we get to today's video, thank you to Aspen Dental, Connect 200 Music 2C, and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. They are the reasons I'm not asking you for money, so thank you very much to our sponsors. Today's video is coming from the live chat from the Wild Side Live. They said, hey, Eric, have you ever done a reaction to the opening of Wacken 2013? And I said, I don't think so. Luckily, there are people who are helping me out who are absolutely wonderful, who went through my videos and replied with, no, he has not done the opening of Wacken 2013. So today, we are going to be checking out the opening Nightwish from Wacken 2013. I believe the track is from their 05 album Once, and it is called Dark Chest of Wonders. And this is how they're kicking off Wacken Open Air 2013. It is Nightwish. It is the Wild Side. Let's check it out. Sorry, I need to hear this again. This opening is really something else. if that's how you open a show, bro, that is intense. Like, if that's how you bring everything out, again, let me know down below. Nightwish, Dark Chest of Wonders, Wacken 2013. I was told this is the opening of their show, and if, again, I could be wrong. That's why I rely on my Sherpas of my Nightwish army. If I'm not mistaken, this is kind of, she's still relatively recent in the timeline of Nightwish. So let me see if I can break it down in the best way I know how to do it is with my Holy Trinity here. Right? It's a live performance, live Wacken. She's doing a song not written for her because, again, I think it's from the album Once, which was 05, 06, somewhere. Again, let me know down below. I'm getting better. I'm trying. I really am. So first and foremost, let's talk about the relationship between what's happening on stage and what's happening in the crowd. Right from the jump, this crowd is into it. They're getting what they came for. They have turned themselves over. All the shots that I saw of the crowd, and this is something that's, I know that I'm probably that guy at shows, because a lot of times you'll see me, I'm standing near the sound booth. I might be talking to somebody. I might be having a conversation with someone. So my experiences at live shows may be different from others. But for the people that are there to see the band, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for this escapism. I'm looking for a resignation of will to just turn themselves over to who they're there for and allow themselves to be caught up in whatever it is happening, regardless of who they are. That's when a fan is going to come away from this experience changed. They will come away from this experience going, oh my God, dude, I can't believe I just saw that. So evident right from the get-go that from what I saw, everybody was really good about turning themselves over to what was happening. And again, if that's how you're starting your set, if you're coming out like that, the way that they came out, just blistering punch in the face, which is a really good way to start. Some bands start slow and low and then bring you to the apex. Some bands come out and just go from the get-go, and then they may change the tempo as they go through their set. But that is an incredible way to start, because the sound you're hearing, this goes to anyone that I'm introducing a band to, a band I'm familiar with that I would like somebody to check out. I'm going to try to pick a song that has a familiar tone to it, something that maybe they can't put their finger on, like that sounds like something. And it's not a rip-off. It's not somebody doing a cover. It's an influence. It's a tone. It's usually a memory in the listener. It's really not even the band. It's usually you making that connection to say, oh, that sounds like them. They must be influenced by their. So now I'm comfortable in this new sound. And what I was hearing, here's what I love about Nightwish. Tuomas, very complicated, but very straightforward. Very complicated, but very direct in its path. So it knows where it's going, and it's going to take you there whether you like it or not. Regardless of what type of song it is, it's going to take you along. He's so good about making the unrelatable personally relatable. Because what I'm picking up, we're going to the second part of this Holy Trinity here, the lyrical and song structure and the band. How are they with that? Telling the story of the lyrics while doing their part in the performance. And what I'm getting a lot of this, and I wrote it down, what I'm getting a lot from Tuomas is he's jaded by adulthood, right? This Dark Chest of Wonders, he uses the word once a lot, which is also the title of the album. I may be extrapolating way more than I need to. It may be something real simple, but what I'm getting from this is, back in the late 70s, early 80s, they changed the language from male chauvinist pig to Peter Pan syndrome. They're trying to shame you into growing up is what it really was. It was a way of adults labeling other people as children in their mind, because you never want to grow up. You never want to leave the innocence of your childhood. We call it your halcyon days of youth, whatever, and there's the expressions youth is wasted on the young. So it's not an uncommon trope or theme to be heard in art. The nostalgia that is driving you to think of better days, if you will, or to speak of the past in ways that are more flattering than the realities. But what I'm getting from Tuomas is, from this song in particular, this Dark Chest of Wonders, its universality, for me anyway, the universal message would be, being an adult doesn't mean you have to stop wondering. It doesn't mean you have to stop being innocent. It doesn't mean you have to stop going on adventures. It doesn't mean there aren't parts of your childlike wonder that you still shouldn't allow yourself to tap into. But there's a time in everyone's young adult life, I think, where we're almost forced to grow, right? Where we're expected, it's demanded of us to mature and to become, productive members of society. And I think somewhere along the way, the guileless is beaten out of us through what we experience in life and, how we treat each other as adults. You get out of this really tight group as kids and your friends, and you realize that's not how the world works. And it's easy to jade you. And it's also easy to stay in that funk as well. And social media doesn't help. But what I'm picking up here is, don't be afraid of your dark chest. Don't be afraid of those things in your childhood that made you wonder, that made you seek knowledge, seek wisdom, seek mistakes, and to be okay with that and to grow beyond that, but never be too adult to take this too seriously. Have fun with it, go experience things. But that's, again, I could be very wrong about my interpretation of the story this is trying to tell. Because again, he's using the word once, and usually that's spoken in ways of retrospect. So, that's maybe why I was thinking that. But now let's talk about the other third, and I wanted to leave this up for this reason: the Holy Trinity, the song itself, and what makes Nightwish so spectacular is that it's all coming from one source. Everybody is featured, but nobody's the star, because they understand that what they're creating is bigger than they are. So it's always fascinating to me and wonderful to me to see them turn themselves over to the creation and to understand where they fit in each one of these compositions that Tuomas is generating from Deep Dark, while also contributing their own signature to what he is creating. And I found this song right here is three things. It is three things. Even though there are 5 people involved in the creation of this song, really the driving motivation and the driving force of this song are 3 things. It's, of course, Kai on the drums, Yuka on the drums. I'm always having to make sure I get them correct. What Yuka's doing with the drums, and he does it partway through the song as well. I don't know if it is technically polyrhythmic. I don't know if technically that's what you would call it. But what Kai is doing is setting almost 2 tempos while still maintaining a beat. It's just really cool how intricately precise and violent his drumming is in this song. And again, I don't know if technically you would call it polyrhythmic, but what I'm hearing are almost 2 rhythms in the same. And he'll switch from one to the other, going from a traditional metal rhythm to the more symphonic, rhythmic, I don't want to call it dancey, but that's the only way I know how to translate my definition of rhythmic when I'm speaking about music. And, a rhythmic, that's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm just talking about the tempo. I'm talking about the the heartbeat of the song. But there are times when he's blending them, where one hand is doing one thing and his feet are doing another, and I find that absolutely brilliant. I love when drummers do that. Drumming is one of my that's really what I'm drawn to about music, is that heartbeat that's within the very core of that song. And his heartbeat that he's creating in this song is so intricately, technically precise, yet it's violent, and it sounds like he's just slamming. And the cacophony that's coming from him, it can be so overwhelming to the palate that it almost becomes a white light, that it almost becomes a brightness of its own. So that's really the brick foundation of what is happening here. But the drive, the engine, the motivation of this song, that sound you just heard, there's a guy that lives in this condo. He's got one of those cars. The real drive of this song is Tuomas and Empu. The tone that Empu is getting is straight tradition metal. But what he's doing with this, and I wrote down Testament, 9 Inch Nails, KMFDM. What I'm hearing is this almost and I think they did it in Greatest Show on Earth, almost like a history of metal in riffs throughout this song. And at the beginning, it's really cool because there's multiple. He's multi-tapping, he's sliding, he's grinding, he's strumming. He's doing chord progressions that are straight up metal. Like you open up a dictionary, here's how you make a guitar sound like a metal guitar. But then what he's also doing around that note, that traditional, comfortable note that you're ready to hear, what he's creating around it are these unique little subtleties, these little hammer taps, these little things that you may not pick up. And Tuomas is doing it as well. So he's laying this really good foundation with the keys, and he's creating this perfect symphonic bass harmony that Empu is feeding from. But then on the other hand, literally on the other hand, he's also creating these little subtle sounds in the background. And this song is really good about subtleties. There's another thing in here that makes this song subtly enormous. Again, you can talk about the riffs, you can talk about the drumming, you can talk about that bass line, that real, thick, rich, smoky bass line that's happening in the background, and in the foreground as well. And again, because they're so good at playing whack-a-mole with their instruments and the song. It's perfect. It's this perfect combination from one to the next. And it's just brilliant how, again, everybody is highlighted, but nobody is the star. But the vocals, her vocals in this track may be the most innocent I've heard from her. So her ability to convey the childlike wonder in the lyrics through her tone, through Floor's tone, it's ethereal. In the haze. Dude, come on, man. In the haze that's around her vocals coming through my color spectrum, there's an innocence to it that, and yet, here's what I love about Floor. She is still 100% in command of these people. Right there. She's got them right there. But it's in her voice. It's the way that she's hitting the notes. So there are certain notes where she could go here, but she keeps it here. Because what it does is when you go here, it might be too much. But if you keep it in this one spectrum down here or over here, it adds a more seriousness to it, a bigger, a heavier gravity to the situation. And I wanted to point this out because it's subtle. 224. I want to make sure that I get this correct. Okay, hold on. Okay. I know that may be a throwaway to a lot of people. I know to a lot of people that may be a throwaway moment. At this point in the song, what you just heard is vulnerability. And it's amazing how heavy that is. There's a song by Godsmack called Whatever. Or is it Keep Away? I think it's Whatever. Where right at the beginning, it's hammering, it's driving, it is in your face. It's Godsmack, right? But Sully Erna drops this little in there. And it's subtle. But it adds a desperation and a vulnerability to the heaviness that is coming through all around that one little vocal utterance. Created a weight of vulnerability that is incredibly difficult to capture and incredibly rare to convey. And again, this is live, so her ability to do that and stay tight, because this isn't something you can hit. This is something that is you are requiring her to go, settle down. Settle down here, Floor. I can't have you going balls to the wall here. And she did it perfectly. That was a perfect subtlety to a fantastic way to open a show. So again, if that's how you open the show, if that's how you kick things off, you got them, man. You got them there. Again, another great example of the layer cake baking of metal songs that is Tuomas. Is it metal? Yes. Is it symphonic? Yes. Is it symphonic metal? Yes. I think it just rocks. So again, thank you very much. Dark Chest of Wonders, Wacken 2013. Thank you very much for the suggestion. That came from our live chat, and we do our Wild Side live stream every Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Time. We go live, and we sit and chat about rock and roll. I take your suggestions. I answer questions. People ask me what I do for a living, about meeting bands, about working in radio, how radio works, things like that. So, again, you're welcome to join and ask anything you want, but you do have to be a subscriber. So make sure you're clicking the subscribe button. I am a horrible self-promoter. Sorry. My moderators get mad at me all the time. They don't get mad. I'm not saying they're bitter people, but they get frustrated because I'm not that guy. I'm not that smash the like button. I'm not that guy. There are other people who are paid money who are professional marketing people who know how to do this. So go do that. Do that for me. Now let's work something out here. I'll tell you my story, then you can come up with some cool blurb about it, but I have a marketing person who's been hammering me about doing that. So it's like, bro, I'm just a horrible marketing person. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. That helps the channel grow. It helps get me in the algorithm. And again, I just forget to do this stuff because that's not important. What's important is you guys asking me to check these songs out. So I always put that first. And I have a one-track mind. Again, card catalog organized by a monkey on methamphetamine. That's how the brain works. So I take things as I can. But every Saturday, 2 o'clock, make sure you're there for the Wild Side live chat. Got to be a subscriber. You can ask me anything, suggest anything, and I'll put it in the handy-dandy notebook. Thank you to Aspen Dental, Connect 200, Music to See, Gothic Jewelry, and Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. They are the reasons I'm not asking you for money. All I'm asking you to do is like it. All I'm asking you to do is subscribe. All I'm asking you to do is join the I Concur Army. And all I'm asking you to do is look out for each other. Look out for your neighbor and try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark, and this has been The Wild Side.